Tonight's AEW Dynamite was brought to you by the word surprise. As in, surprise, you're going to get everything wrong. We started off the show with the return of Taz. Taz is back on commentary. Thank goodness. Welcome back, Taz. We missed you. First match of the night was Omega versus Swerve. And as far as anybody has figured out, it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. It was the number one contendership versus the title of EVP in the company. And let me tell you that, surprise, Omega got the win. I didn't expect it. He has done so much for the business. He has done so much for the company. He really has been trying to build up other people, even with this new run after the surgery for his diverticulitis. And he got the win. And it was a good match. The big notable moment of the match was that both men, Swerve and Omega, went out to ringside. Swerve climbed up onto the thick boy guardrail across from the hard cam, and he was going to do a pile driver to Kenny Omega, and they slipped. Something happened. I don't know, and they both tumbled into the audience for a second. It was very funny. It was very unexpected. Surprise. They did end up getting back up on the railing. The pile driver did end up happening. Omega just kind of rolled off and kind of just was on the ground doing his Omega thing while Swerve was taking a moment to relax and recover. So that was the whole thing. Like I said, Omega ended up with the win. He is now the number one contender. He has stripped that off of Swerve, which I didn't see coming. I truly thought that Swerve was going to be next in line to go after the title, but it's fine. Dynasty, MJF, Omega. Next week is the contract signing. No touchy, no touchy. If you touch, the match is off. No touchy. Moving on. We followed that up with a promo package for Darby Allin because he was going to be in a match tonight against Roosh, and it basically just showed all the ridiculous shenanigans that Darby has gotten up to in the last couple of years in random matches on TV, on pay-per-view, on all the things. So it was fine. His fun little package lasted about 37 seconds, and we immediately rolled into an Ospreay promo where he called out Pac, first and foremost, saying, like, hey, I don't actually know you. We've never shaken hands, so fun fact that you're lying about all of that. But if you want to fight, I'll see you next week in Winnipeg. Cool? Cool. Then he shifted gears on over to Moxley, and he was like, hey, still hate you. Still think you're an asshole. I'm coming after you. Hey, but also, thanks for giving me time with my kid. I appreciate it. You're a dead man. That was the entire thing, which is fine. It worked. It worked perfectly well. He definitely is setting up everything he's going to be doing moving forward, and I don't have a single issue with it. So we'll just take that for what it was worth, and we'll move on. And we're going to move directly into Mox coming out with Garcia and Shafir and Yuta, and it was going to be a mixed trios match, so it was Mox and Shafir and Garcia, and they went up against Zeta Steel and Top Flight, and it was a very interesting match. It's good to see the Martin boys still doing their thing, getting their flight miles in. Shafir came at just everybody. I mean, she beat the crap out of Zeta Steel for a little while. She ended up kicking one of the Martin brothers in the head later on. I think it was Dante. He was trying to do a top rope springboard thing, and she came flying out of nowhere and just kicked him before he could get on the top rope. It worked really well. Zeta Steel got a shot in on Wheeler Yuta, who was standing ringside with the Continental Belt, just waiting for the match to be over. Although she did it because he was interfering. Fair point. She got him, though. It was fun. It was good stuff. She walloped the hell out of Daniel Garcia for a second because he stopped her from getting the tag just by picking her up, and she gave him an elbow and then turned around and was just like whap. It was a pretty good match. In the end, the Death Riders got the win. Very fun, very entertaining, very quick-ish match. I think there was one commercial break in there, but it wasn't a very long one. And it happened not too long into the match, and then the match didn't last too long after the commercial break. So, like I said, Death Riders with the win. Martin Boy's looking good. Zeta Steel looked fine. She doesn't look like she's doing anything too noobish, which is great. She fits in just fine. Immediately after the match, Mox grabbed a microphone and cut a very strange promo, basically just accepting the match at Dynasty against Ospreay. That'll be fun. Next Wednesday, we've got Ospreay versus Pac, and then at the pay-per-view, Ospreay versus Mox, and it's going to be fun. Both matches are going to be very fun to watch. Can't wait to see them. I'm sure Ospreay is going to get the upper hand in both matches, but again, tonight's episode was brought to you by the word surprise, so we'll see what happens. We got a little bit of a Bucks package after that, basically saying like, hey, yeah, we didn't get the titles for the fourth time. We went home, we licked our wounds, we're coming back with a vengeance, we're better than ever, and we're going to just continue to grow and be the best that we can be because we're the Young Bucks. And yeah, that's it. Looks like all the heels are getting all the victories and all the baby faces are starting to ramp up a little bit. So summer is going to be very interesting, which brought us straight to Bayley versus Rocky Romero. And that one was a very strange match. Both men are quick and they move with like they got fire in their pocket. I mean, really, like they're just both bouncing around, running back and forth, jumping, doing all this stuff, kicks. Bayley ended up with the win. It wasn't match of the night. It wasn't the worst match we've seen in a while. It was a good showing for both men. Rocky Romero did do his little slide, like knee slide, like, oh, thing, and that cost him, again, I don't know why he's still doing this. It costs him matches all the time. So Bayley with the win. He's moving on to do bigger and better things. Also still as a trios champion. He did come out in a Mystico robe, which was kind of cool, or gi. It wasn't even a gi because it was way longer. It was a robe for sure. Like there's a difference between a gi and a robe. So he came out in a Mystico robe, still repping the brand, still showing off his trio partner. So everything was good there. Moving on. Just before the commercial break, we had another short video package just as a reminder of how the Texas Death Match went at Revolution. And I mean, they showed some of the blood, they showed some of the gore, but it's regular television, so they couldn't show everything. Not a very long package at all. Straight into commercial break. Right after the commercial break, MJF came out, started cutting a promo. Still, I'm better than you. You're not on the level of the devil. Love all of it. Doing really well. And then Omega came back out. And Omega was like, hey, don't know if you noticed, I'm the number one contender now. I'm going to take you out. Some people call me the wrestling god, and you proclaim yourself to be the devil. So they didn't say this. This is the first thing that popped into my head was deities at Dynasty. So Omega, number one contender. We're getting that match at Dynasty. It's going to be awesome. MJF's obviously going to win. Thank you. Goodbye. We went straight into another backstage promo that was recorded earlier in the night with Renee. And she had Cage and Cope, and Cage was like, I can't believe that FTR put their hands on Beth. That's horrible, but even more horrible is they gave me a spike pile driver, and then he walked off. And then Cope was like, he's an asshole, but he's right. They did do that, and I'm going to end their careers because they're throwing this almost 20-year-long friendship out the window. And I'm going to be here to throw them out the window. And that it was just a whole thing. Right after that, though, we were supposed to have a match, but FTR came out and interrupted. And they were like, yeah, we did all that. We don't need you anymore. You were holding us back. We're champions. You're not champions. Deal with it. Your time is past. Goodbye. And that was the whole thing. And as soon as they were done, Orange Cassidy's music hit. And him and Roderick Strong came walking out. And Stokely was kind of standing there, and Orange Cassidy went up to Stokely and did his hands up in the air and came down and went boop and just touched Stokely's chest. And then FTR pushed him off. And like, if the entry ramp wasn't flat for like, it was on the floor. There was no actual ramp this time, realistically. So if there had been a ramp, he would have flown off the ramp. But instead, he just kind of stumbled off to the side toward the crowd. Everything worked out. Roddy came over and started trying to fight FTR. The referees separated them and got Roddy and Orange into the ring. And then immediately after that, We had Connors and Finley come out, and it was a whole match, conglomeration versus the dogs, and it was way harder hitting than I think people would have expected, but it's exactly what we needed to show that the dogs are here. The dogs are going to do the dogs thing. They don't mess around when it comes to whatever they're trying to handle, and they got the victory in the end. Roddy did a great job of fighting him off a handful of times. Orange Cassidy did his Orange Cassidy thing and got some good licks in, but also some goofy wrestling for life licks in. It was just a fun time all around. No qualms. I'm glad the dogs got the win. It shows that they're actually a force to be reckoned with. And that was just that. So go check replays on that. It was very good. I highly recommend this to anybody who wants to see what the dogs are capable of, who don't want to go back and watch anything from New Japan. We followed that up with another 2 promos. Tonight was surprise promo night. So we started first with Mega Cross cutting a promo saying, hey, you guys lost, deal with it, but if you really want to get beat up again, we'll take you on. So there's going to be another match between Mega Cross and the Babes of Wrath. I believe it's going to be at the pay-per-view. I don't know if it's going to be on the intro hour that they're streaming on YouTube or if it'll be on the pay-per-view proper, but it's going to be another match, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. In my mind, it just will solidify the fact that Mega Cross are a force to be reckoned with, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon, and they're going to hold the titles for quite a while. So we'll see what happens. Keep an eye on it. However, immediately following that, we had Fletcher come out. Not come out. He was in the back, but he cut a promo basically saying, like, he's going to go after MJF for the world title and bring it to the Don Callis family. But first, he needs to do some other business. And he brought Takeshita in, and he was like, hey, I know that you don't like Okada that much, but I hope that doesn't stop anything between me and you. We've been a really good tag team in the past. I hope we can continue to be friends and just run rampant over everybody. And Takeshita gave a big thumbs up, and they hugged, and it was a whole moment, which then brought us straight into Mina Shirakawa versus Tekla for the women's title. And it did not go as I was expecting. Once again, surprise, Mina's pissed. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense because Toni Storm has been taken out and there's going to be a whole thing with that. But she got the upper hand on Tekla for the entire intro of the fight up until the first commercial break. We came back from commercial with Tekla on top for about 37 seconds. Mina got the upper hand again, and then it was just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Until finally, we came to the ending where Tekla took her belt off, and she was going to hit Mina. And then the referee took the belt away, and as he was dilly-dallying in the corner trying to hand the belt off to somebody, Tekla pulled brass knuckles out of her ring gear. She just reached in, boop, got him, slipped them on. Mina went to hit like her finishing move, I believe it was. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put it up above me in the edit. But Tekla had the brass, and she went, bink, and she just walloped Mina right in the forehead, and that was that. Mina fell, was knocked out. Tekla got the victory, and then the Sisters of Sin came out, and Julia Hart stripped the knuckles off of Tekla's hand so that she could go on celebrating, and she slipped them into her back pocket, I think, and then that was just the whole thing, and then they kind of took off, and that was that. Tekla retains the title. Awesome, good, keep it that way, get some titles on the Sisters of Sin, and let's start getting these stables having gold. Yeah? All right. This is the part where we had the quick interview with Omega saying that next week is the contract signing, and he knows he's not, there's no touchy. When Mike Bailey came in, and Bailey was like, hey man, I know that people call you the God of Wrestling, but I think that you've definitely deserved that moniker, and I know you can beat MJF, and after you do beat MJF, I'd like to be first in line for a shot. And they shook hands, and they agreed to it, and that was the entire ordeal. Then we smash cut to Ricochet in the Demand, and Ricochet saying that he was robbed of the title, which I don't disagree with. because he was never pinned, he never submitted. There was no 3 count. His shoulders never hit the mat, and now suddenly somebody else is the national champion. That being Jack Perry, obviously. So he's going to go and try and get his title back. The demand is going to be on the warpath to prove themselves contenders for anything and everything that they can get. The demand is coming, and I'm so ready for it. That brought us to the main event. The main event was Rush versus Darby Allin, and it was as ridiculous and hard-hitting and bloody as one could expect. So I had to take extra careful notes, and here they are. First and foremost, Rush attacked Darby while he was posing on the ropes before the bell rang, knocked him all the way off the ropes out to the outside, and then ding dang, right? Darby Allin, they fought outside for a little while. Rush grabbed one of the sets of stairs and pulled it over a little bit so that he could try and throw Darby into it. He wasn't able to. Darby tried to throw him into it. He wasn't able to. Rush finally threw Darby into the steps. Darby hit the side of the steps and went ass over tea kettle and hit the backs of his knees on the top of the guardrail, which were 6 feet away from the stairs. So Darby hit it and he flew, and it was incredible, and it looked painful as hell. So we moved on from there, going straight into, they ended up getting back into the ring for a moment, and then Rush got pushed back to the outside. Darby went to go do a dive, and Rush just did the Samoa Joe thing and kind of stepped aside, and Darby went from the ring all the way into that barricade. It was ridiculous. Then Darby got broken open a few moments later. He had a giant bandage on his forehead from his last match, so he was already lacerated, so the laceration reopened, and blood, and the bandage was like flippy floppy, flippy floppy. Very fascinating. Then we got back into the ring. Rush kicked Darby, did his backwards roll into his tranquilo, did the pose. Darby hopped up, started punching him in the face while he was on the ground. They both got up. Rush went to the corner. Darby went to attack Rush, and Rush headbutted him, which made him fall over, and the bandage basically came off at that point. Then they rolled back to the outside. They were fighting. Then Rush rolled to the outside to get a little bit of space for a moment. Darby went to do a dive. He hit Rush. They both went into the commentator's table. Darby hit him a few times, grabbed a chair, set the chair up, grabbed Rush, headbutted Rush into the chair, and then climbed all the way to the top rope and did a top rope to floor chair drop kick. Shattered the chair. Shattered it. It was in 6 pieces. I don't know how the chair just fell apart like that, but it did, and it was fascinating. So after that, they both got back into the ring. By the way, this was a no countouts match, so anything that happened on the outside could happen for 10 minutes, and the ref wasn't going to say anything. So they got back into the ring. They had a little bit of a slap fight, at which point Darby did his slap headbutt thing, and then the turn and the tuck roll and the turn back. He hit the Canadian Destroyer, not Canadian Destroyer. I don't remember what it's called. I'll put the name up above me again. Hit that, and then Rush went off into the corner, got up using the corner. Darby charged at him again. Rush hit a belly-to-belly suplex into the corner, so he threw Darby over him into the corner. And normally when that happens, they hit like the mat and the bottom turnbuckle. No. Darby hit the upper lower part of his back, like the lower mid part of his back on the top turnbuckle, and his head on the middle turnbuckle, and just went splat straight down. It was fantastic. They had another 37 seconds of back and forth after they both got back up, and Darby hit Rush with a jackknife roll-up, got the victory 1-2-3, immediately scampered out of the ring, took refuge on the entrance ramp, at which point Mark Davis came out, deadlifted him, gave him a pile driver, and then the rest of the Don Callis family came walking out after. They picked Darby up, put him back in the ring, and the show cut with the Don Callis family just beating the tar out of Darby. So I don't know what we're doing there. It was fascinating. It was a great match. I have to give match of the night, however, to Cassidy and Strong versus Finley and Connors. It was just really good top to bottom. I would give it to Darby and Roosh, but we knew what we were getting when we got into it. I don't think anybody expected anything different from it. But surprise, Connors and Finley taking the win on that match was absolutely diabolical, and I loved every second of it. So be good to yourselves this week. I'll see you Saturday. We've got another pay-per-view coming up. Everything is happening really fast, and I'm so excited to see what happens this summer. We've got so many things to cover and so much fun extravaganza bullshit that we expect to happen. Hopefully, it's not brought to you by the word surprise, and none of it happens. But we'll see. So be good to yourselves. Have fun this week. Don't take any wooden nickels. And I will see you Saturday night.